This generation needs more REO Speedwagon. All right, listen, we've been talking a lot about leaving the country lately, and the world really seems to hate America at this moment. But we need to ask ourselves, as Americans, should we even be welcome in other countries? Are we welcome in other countries? Yes. Yes, of course we are. All right, now listen, if you're some kind of weirdo walking around taking your politics with you, people are going to look at you like you're a weirdo who's taking your politics with you. Don't be that weirdo. Just be who you are. Because one of the things that other countries really seem to appreciate is authenticity. It's not as fake and plastic. Of course, there are cultures and countries out there that are getting more and more like that, but it's not to the same degree that it is here in America. Just don't be a weirdo. It's not that hard. Oh, and also, don't be a sex pest. If you're going to be somebody who goes to Thailand and moves to Pattaya and just decides that you're going to spend the last 10 years of your life chasing around 18-year-old peasant girls from the farmlands, guess what? You know, that's really not the best look for Americans either. And if you've been to Thailand, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing in the Philippines. But hey, love is love. I get it. If you find it, hold on to it. If it's real, I'm super happy for you. But Americans in general, should we be accepted in other countries? And I think that's something to really think about right now, because I think it's a complicated issue. Because one of the questions is, you know, if there's a big exodus of Americans, like how can other countries handle that kind of stress on their infrastructure? And that's actually a very important question, because what you're seeing is tourism protests all over the Mediterranean right now, especially in Portugal, Spain, Italy, Greece, but especially in Portugal, because Portugal over the past few years has been kind of really at the top of the conversation when it comes to places for Americans to retire to, places for digital nomads to move to. And guess what? It has really ruined a lot of local economies. You have a phone. When you're done with this video, go on Google, look up long-term rentals in Lisbon, Portugal, and tell me what you see. This place used to be super affordable. It used to be super affordable because the country itself doesn't exactly have the strongest economy. Listen, Portugal is great. It's a great country. The people are fantastic, but it isn't exactly a high GDP country. And that's exactly why so many Americans have wanted to move there to get away from America, is because it's been so affordable, but it's just not anymore. Looking for like a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in Lisbon, 3,000 euros a month, like $3,400 a month, right? There's nothing affordable about that. But the thing is, that's not just what tourists, or that's just not what digital nomads have to deal with. The locals have to compete with that too. You know, that's a big thing in Spain right now, and the big reason they're having so many protests there of people spraying tourists with water guns is it's just driven up rent prices so much that people can't survive. When you're in Barcelona and rentals are costing, you know, 1,500, 2,000 euros, and your monthly wage can't even pay for that, you know, it really does upset kind of the life trajectory of most people, just like it did in America, where the cost of rentals and housing has gone up. So when you're bringing your money in there and you're paying tourist fees, I mean, the local economy adjusts and the price of all rents essentially go up, because they know that Westerners will pay for that. And then, yeah, it'll displace the locals, but hey, guess what? Landlords are still making more money. So yeah, that causes a lot of protests and it causes a lot of resentment. And that's why you're seeing tourists go home written all over the place in the Mediterranean. It's been that way for a while, but listen, as cost of living goes up worldwide, a lot of these countries that have been struggling for the past decade or longer, the little increases in prices really do price locals out of actually having a good living. So yeah, you're probably not going to be welcome in those places. You're still going to be seen as someone who's taking advantage of the system, while at the same time getting special treatment by police officers, government officials, medical services, because those places want your money and they don't want a bad reputation. At the same time, locals get pushed to the back of the line. It causes a lot of resentment, you know? So there has to be a fine balance. Having a couple onesies and twosies go over and make a new life in a foreign land, that's fine. But when you have entire populations go into an area and essentially colonize it and set up little America in the middle of Rome, or in the middle of Naples, or in the middle of Madrid or Barcelona, or in the middle of Athens, it's a problem. Because the fact is, they already have those. They're called tourist zones. If you've been anywhere in the world or in your own country, you know what a tourist area is and you usually stay away from it. But those areas weren't always tourist areas. Those areas were once populated by people who were just living their lives. It's just been so long ago that we have no idea of what life was like there before it was Chinatown, before it was Little Italy, before it was a place that you can go visit. And when it does turn into these places, it loses the authenticity. So you can still be living in this place, but it not actually be what that place is supposed to be. We'll take the Philippines, for instance. You can be living in BGC in Manila. You can live a great, affordable life, and live the life that you want to live. But at the same time, is the actual Philippines? No. Most Filipino people couldn't even afford to eat there in their entire lives. There are people in the Philippines who will go their entire life without even having a glorious meal of fried chicken and rice from Jollibee's, and their gravy is delicious. But that happens everywhere. You talk about places like Phuket. Nobody who's Thai can live in Phuket, not anymore. You have people who come in and do their business there, or, put like 10 people in one apartment. It's the only way they'll be able to afford it there. It's people who are working to service the wealthy tourist. You're moving to a place and colonizing it is all it is. So when Americans decide to move in numbers to these places, it can become an issue, like I said. So you just want to avoid that. You find a place that's good for you and go there. But at the same time, again, don't be a weirdo, but don't be surprised when a lot of these countries change their visa and their immigration policies, because the numbers have just gotten so high that, although they really want your money, it's destabilizing local economies. And like I said, causing a lot of resentment. But besides all that, besides the negative things, no, you go move to a place and it's not already flooded with tourists. If you live amongst locals, guess what? They don't care. You'll probably be invited over because they're like, oh, there's an American, there's a stranger. Let's get to know them, because there's actually a desire to get to know people in other countries. And that's not something we're used to as Americans. So that's one of the things when we go over, and Americans who first move to different countries, they seem so off to locals or to other expats or immigrants who've been living there for a long time, is that you do carry that paranoia from America with you. So you just kind of got to work away from that, because no one wants to be around a paranoid person. You just want to keep away, you want to stay away from that person. It's like I said in other videos, you have to work really hard to deprogram a lot of the BS behaviors that you have as an American to actually live in a lot of other places. Because the social paranoia and kind of Americans' lack of ability to actually be social with strangers, which is a lot more common than people think. Yeah, listen, you get a lot more extroverts that go abroad. So if you're like, I've met a lot of Americans, they seem really nice. Just understand that the typical American aren't exactly outgoing usually when it comes to new people. We're fairly xenophobic people. A lot of cultures are like that. But as things have gotten more intense over the years in America, that kind of paranoia and that kind of off-putting, I don't like change, I don't like new things attitude has really kind of cemented into our social psyche. So you got to do away with those things. If you're thinking about going to another country, you don't really have anything to worry about. There's not going to be a mass exodus of people leaving America. There's not going to be a bunch of people from America who are claiming to be refugees in other countries. It's not going to happen. People in America are going to stay in America, and a few people are going to choose to leave. And if you want to be that person, then so be it. But understand that if you're going to a place that actually has people from that country who live in the area that you're moving to, that they're not going to hate you. They're going to have interest in you. And if you do bring your politics, they're probably not going to want much to do with you, because American politics are kind of gross to the rest of the world. But if you focus on just being yourself, if you focus on just communicating authentically with other people and understanding that they have their own special lives and that they are from a different culture and that you're in that culture and that you respect that culture and you want to learn about it and you want to learn the language and you want to participate culturally, guess what? They're going to love you. They're going to accept you with open arms, because you're not any of the people on TV. You're just a normal, common person. And people all over the world recognize that you are not those people on TV. They recognize that you are just like them. You're just trying to live a better life. They're trying to live a better life. When you're working towards that, they're working towards that. It's an amazing thing, and we all have that in common. Now, yeah, cultures are different, but at the same time, humans, not so much. And I think that that's something that should make that transition and that fear of being accepted really a lot easier. I know a lot of my subscribers have moved to other countries or have spent a lot of time in other countries, but go ahead and tell me what you think about this topic. Did you have a hard time? Was it easy for you? Was it a nightmare? Was it the time of your life? Are you happier now than you've ever been? Let us know, because there's a lot of people out there who do have that worry, especially right now, where our global reputation as Americans is kind of at an all-time low. But thanks for stopping by. If you're still here, like and subscribe, thinking about becoming a member. Any questions, any suggestions, put them in the comment section. And yeah, hope you have a good one. Hey everybody, if you're still here at this point, just so you know, we started another channel as I am beginning a weight loss journey, because I have gotten in horrible shape over the past couple months, and it's time to change that and take back my health. And I invite you to join us on this 100-day journey of weight loss and fitness. So it's gonna be pretty thorough, but it's all positive. It's all about positivity and learning and getting some hard work in. So the new channel is called Large Man Health, and I am putting the first video up today. So go over and check it out. It's gonna be pretty simple, but like I said, it's gonna be every day. But again, I invite you to come over and join us as we strive for a little bit of change in our personal lives. And like I said, a real positive attitude. So I hope you have a good one. Come on over.